everybody, it's Katie from Ray & Company, Face Painting and Body Arts and the Ray & Co Insiders channel. Welcome. In today's tutorial, we are going to be doing a sunflower tutorial. And so before we do that, let's get started with some of the supplies that you might need. So let's see. Let me see if I can zoom in here for you and just reposition this stuff slightly. Okay. This is actually a pretty simple tutorial today. Don't need a whole lot. So in terms of brushes, we'll get those out of the way right away. You can tell I'm using all Paint Pal by Silly Farm today. They all have the pink handles and the gray ends on them. I am using the, this is the Romantic Rose Paint Pal brush. And before I forget, be sure to check the description because I will put a list of all the products, at least that I can find online, in the description. So a little shopping list for you. You guys don't have to take notes. And then I have the Filbert brush, which they call the little drop brush. And so we'll set that aside. I have the, I have a nice Flora brush. So this is the Paint Pal Pretty Petal brush. So I'll be using that. And then I just have a round. This is a number 3. But it could be, you know, it could be anything. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab another round off camera. I think I'll just grab this number 3 round LE by Blazing Brush Marcella Bustamante. You don't need 2 rounds, but if you don't want to rinse your brush in between colors, it's sometimes helpful to have a couple of the same style. All right, in terms of paint, we're mainly going to be using solid colors today, but I do have a tag regular white for line work. That's a wax-based paint. And then I'm using the Bright Leaf Arty Brush Cake today for my leaves. And then finally, I am going to be using the American Body Art Pixie Pink. Actually, I'm not going to be using this probably on the board, but I'll try to remember to show you what this looks like on the arm. It's super pretty, and I just think it would be a fun way to top off this design. There's also a green version of the Pixie Paint that would work as well. I'm just going to switch back to this view real quick while I change one of the views here. Hold on one second. Well, we'll go back over here, but I'm just going to center this up a little bit. Okay, so let's get started. One thing that I forgot to show you is that I will be using a teardrop sponge. I actually already have it loaded. That's an Always Wicked Art one. This used to be blue. It's a little bit stained now, but I'm just going to use it. I preloaded it, and what we are going to be using is some of this pearl white here. I'm just going to reactivate it and kind of get my sponge in there. Now, you may notice it's staining a little bit on the side here with the yellow that I had on it previously. That's no big deal. One way to clean your paints is just to use a baby wipe or a clean sponge, a damp sponge, and then just moisten the paint and you can wipe it right off. So just going to try to get a little bit of that. And then I have a pretty, it's not pearl, it's just a really pale yellow. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of that pale yellow. All right, heading back over to our face, I'm just going to use that teardrop sponge to kind of go around the eye. Now, you know, I would probably have them close their eyes. Not probably, I would have them close their eyes so that I'm not painting on their eyeball. But I can't ask him to close his eyes, so real life, that's just how it is. Okay, so we've got a nice little base there with some eyeshadow, and we'll clean up the eye here at the end. And then I'm going to go ahead and start in with the leaves. So I'm going to grab that angle brush and my Arty brush cake, and I'm going to give it a mist off camera. And I'm just going to kind of start blocking out the design and keeping in mind that I want to leave room for my sunflower on the side of the eye. So Down here, we're going to be doing a little bit of a larger leaf, because sunflowers really have big, they have just big, bold leaves. So we're going to do kind of a larger one down here, and then just kind of balance it out with a, and I probably could have gone a little bit farther down. That's okay. And then we'll just balance it out with a little bit of a smaller one here. Just kind of overlapping a little bit. And you can fix that. You can always go back over it and fix it if you want. I don't know if I just made that worse or better, but it is what it is. And then over here, I'm going to just do a couple of smaller ones. And we're going to kind of overlap them as we go kind of around the eye. So then I'm going to do one right here, kind of a little bit wider, and then maybe one, sneak one in right around here, and then finally we'll add one right over here. Just kind of get some bold leaves going around that side as well. You can always put some greenery in here, like this if you want, and just kind of angle it down towards the middle of the brow. I don't think this side really needs any, so we'll just leave that one alone. Okay, on to our sunflower. So I'm going to grab that pretty petal brush, and normally you would load a we're going to do a double dip flower petal, and normally what you would do is you would load light color on the brush as the main color and then dip the end of it in with a darker color. But because we're going to be using the brush the opposite way that we normally would, we want the point on the outside, we are going to load it up generously with the orange, and then I'm just going to kind of wipe off a little bit of that orange on the tip just to get some of the paint off of there, because then what I really want is I want more of that yellow. I want the base of these flower petals to be kind of orange, but I mean sunflowers are yellow, so we want it to be mostly yellow. And so this is a little, we're going to blot it off because it's generously loaded. And so maybe coming back in here, just get a little bit more yellow. All right, now we're going to head back over to our face here, and we are going to go with the tip out. So I'm just going to start marking off like kind of a half circle. So I want one up here, and I want one down here, and then over to the side over here. And then we're just going to start sort of filling it in. That's kind of how I approach it if I want something symmetrical. I just kind of break it in half and then just keep breaking it until I get the result that I'm looking for. And then I just fill in the gaps in between. Okay, so now if you need to go over any of these just to get the center of your sunflower a little bit more filled in here, you can do that. Okay, perfect. So I think that looks good so far. Now what I'm going to do is grab that little drop filbert brush. I'm going to dampen it, and then I'm going to go back into my paint, and we are going to go into some brown. So these two colors of brown, I have kind of a caramel color and a brown color. Now, one way to get a one stroke effect with your, let's see, where can I put that? With solid colors is, it would be handy if both of these colors were in a straight line, but you can just load one color in and then just kind of, get the side loaded with your other color. So we've got something that looks a little bit more like this if we blot it. And then we'll come back over to our face. And essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to twist our brush into a circle. Just like that. And then we get a nice kind of dimensional sunflower middle right there. I am going to pick up some of this brown on a round brush. And let's see, activate it just a hair more. And what I want to do is I want to make some dots with this color. So I'm going to roll my brush into my paint and get myself a little sort of puddle. Come back over to my sunflower. And in some of these lighter areas where we can get some contrast, I'll just throw a few dots in here. Then I have another clean round brush, so I'm just going to come into my white, and we're just going to do some highlights and some teardrops to finish this off. So same thing here. I know it's harder to see in the white, but I'm going to roll my brush off, get a little puddle, and then come back in here and kind of get some shine happening on those seeds or whatever they are in there. Sunflower seeds. Okay, then on the leaves, we'll just get a few little highlights in here. We'll sneak some highlights in just to give them a little bit of a glossy sheen. We can do one down here. And then finally, just give this a little bit, just get a little bit wetter. Finally, we'll just add some teardrops here and there to finish this design off. And then just kind of keep the same flow as what you've got going on, where we're kind of wrapping around the eye. You can come down here as well. Put something in like that. I think that's a real pretty and simple sunflower design. That really wraps it up. Like I said before, if you would like to get some pixie paint too, let me grab a little, I like to use these disposable lipstick applicators, but let's grab a little bit of that. And then you can kind of see, let me switch. Oh, I'm on the right view. Okay. So anyway, you could, put some pixie paint on there and just get a really pretty sort of gold look there. You could just put it up here, sort of just like a little around the eye up here, maybe just a dab on the cheek, and then that would be real pretty. You could also just hit up this sunflower with just a tiny little bit of holographic glitter just around the what do I want to call them? The flower petals, really. So we'll add some of that. And there you have it, guys. So if you are, again, interested in learning more about some of the products that I use, particularly the solid colors that are over here, some of the brands that I like, then head over to rayfaceart.com/learn, or make sure you check the description, because I'm trying to be good about putting that information in the description as well. But you can snag my How to Build Your First Face Painting Starter Kit guide there. And then I try to remember to also upload a real life version of the design on my Instagram channel as well. So you can find me over there. I'm just grabbing some baby wipes, clean off that eye. But you can head over to Ray Face Art on Instagram and find me over there as well. And hopefully I will have a sort of a real life version of this painted on somebody's face, if I can find a willing model. But otherwise, that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope you have a great day today, and I will see you in the next tutorial. All right, take care.